I fired my boss and what it actually has taken. Now, I want to make sure that you understand that it took me literally, as of this month, 14 years in preparation for tonight. So May 14 years ago was the day that I actually decided that I'm going to go into this thing called entrepreneurship. And the truth of the matter is it was out of desperation. It was an accident. It was out of someone who really got me in a corner and I had no choice but to say yes. It was a buddy of mine who was calling me every literally like at work and cell phone every 3 days. Hey man, I'm working with Donald Trump and we got to do this and we got to do that. And you're going to join me. You're the only one that's missing out. Okay. All right, great. Hey man, you don't understand. This is the greatest thing ever. No, what I understood that it was some network marketing opportunity. And I knew that friend of mine was not working with Donald Trump. And that's because I saw him drive every now and then, sometimes every 3 to 4 days, I saw him drive by and he had this like terrible, like horrible two-tone car and it was blue and whatever. I think it was mold or something that it was just not matching the story, right? Till one day he showed up in front of my house. And I was like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? I was just gonna call you back, actually. I wasn't. I just got caught. One of those like, uh-oh." And he goes like, "Dude, we gotta talk." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Let me guess, Donald Trump is in the car." He goes like, "No, I just need 5 minutes of your time." I was like, "All right, come on in. I'll give you 5 minutes. I'm about to go to work, but you got 5 minutes." And we walk in the house, and he put a DVD. And by the way, that's the best lesson that I've learned in my network marketing and business career. He didn't explain anything. He literally said, "Where's your DVD player?" And for those of you kids, DVD players were a thing before Blu-ray and before streaming. Okay. So he goes and puts a DVD and he hits play. And that was the very first time in my life that I got slapped with truth and reality check. When I saw in 5 minutes, it was a highlight reel. He didn't show me anything about the company. It was Jim Rohn. It was Zig Ziglar. And they were all saying one thing: you deserve to live your life. Why are you giving the best version of yourself to someone else while you could be giving it to your significant other? Why aren't you living the life? Isn't your bank account as big as you want it to? You need residual income. Only through residual income that you can. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have residual income. And these guys sound pretty legit. By the way, that was the first time I've ever heard those names. I knew eventually who they were like 2 years later, but I had no idea who they were. But he caught my attention in 5 minutes. And I said, all right, man. Okay. So what's next? He goes like, all right, now this is the video I really wanted you to watch. So he puts a 15-minute video as a presentation of a company. Again, didn't explain a thing. And he just hit play. All right, cool. And, I was like, man, this makes sense. Wow. I could be free. I could be rich. I could convince my wife this is the path for us to go. And then it hit me. You only need $500 to get started to live out your dreams. And I was like, there it is. There's the catch. Oh, yeah, that's the part that they all tell you, be careful. They're going to throw something at you. Now, here's the thing. On average, my wife and I spend $500 to $1,000 a month going to Atlantic City because I work 90 hours a week. And when I had one day a month, hey, we got to go to Atlantic City. This is the only time. And we'd literally spend $500 a month. But I was not paying attention to that. I paid attention to this thing in front of me where it was too good to be true. Anybody relate? It was, my God, but what if people make fun of me? Anybody relate? Man, I'm going to do one of those, thingies. What if everybody makes fun of me? And it was a real battle, a huge, huge battle. And I needed to have a moment of truth with myself. So I just took out my debit card and I did what no husband should ever do. Now, men, if you're watching and you're in a relationship, please listen to me carefully. Your wife may do whatever she wants with that card. Those rules do not apply to you ever. So I went and I said, you know what? This is it. Because in the video, it says you only need 2 people within your first 30 days and you make your money back. I was like, I know 4 people. Charge 1,500 for me and 500 for my wife. But don't worry, I'll tell her when she gets home. I will skip that part of the conversation that my wife and I have had when she got home. Okay. Just let's not live. It's trauma if I tell you about that. Okay. And then I was told you're going to come to this Saturday training event and I was going to learn everything that there was. And then I was told, hi, rep or guest? It was a hotel meeting. And I proudly said, rep. They said $10, please. I was like, oh, this is weird, but I'm here to work. Okay. Go over. Okay. I went to the ATM. I pulled money and I was like, I don't get it, but all right, cool. No worries. And then they trained me for 2 hours and they told me what to do. And they told me exactly a systematic way that I can generate my money back. They said, don't talk about the business. Let the DVD do the work for you. Remember my friend who did it right? And I gave him $1,000, like in the same moment when I said, I got 5 minutes and I ended up spending an hour. I went to work late that day. But guess what I did? You guessed it. I told everything to everyone about everything, including the $500 within the first 10 minutes. Now, do you know how long it took me in the first 30 days to make my money back? Anybody know? It took me a year in my first 30 days to make my money back. And when I made my money back, the first person that I actually enrolled was one of my best of best friends. And then it was family members that I begged and literally said, I'll even pay for you. I just need your name to show up. And I didn't make my money back because I was told, oh no, that was just for the first 30 days. Why am I telling you all this? See, I needed to have that struggle to identify a moment of truth. I needed to learn the difference between a rep, a desperate rep, and an entrepreneur. See, I knew because I was working 90 hours a week in a restaurant where my boss made fun of me every single day. He literally would say to me, you went to Le Cordon Bleu in Paris. You became a certified chef just to work for me. That's literally how I would start my morning. Yeah, I know some of you are like shaking your heads, crazy, right? And it bothered me, but it didn't bother me enough. It really didn't, because I did it for a year. Remember, it took me a year that I still did the same exact thing. But one day I made a decision. Something's got to change. My wife doesn't see me and I definitely don't see her. I mean, if you're working 90 hours a week, you're probably not doing much of any marriage. This guy is picking on me every chance he gets. I mean, literally, when I say picking on me, I was the certified chef. I was the culinary manager. I was the assistant general manager. All of these 3 positions, by the way, and I was pulling about $1,200 every 2 weeks. And I found out that my bartenders would make that every 3 days. It hurt. Something's got to change. I didn't spend $80,000 in culinary school, right? So what was the change? And this is lesson number 1. Lesson number 1, as far as the habits you must develop as an entrepreneur, is that you need your moment of truth. You know that moment when you say enough is enough? You know when Jimmy Ezel said, another grown man is telling me, a grown man, what to do with my family? Remember that? That was his moment of truth. Well, my moment of truth was, I'm never going to give this guy the satisfaction to make fun of me again. And I'm never going to miss out on the woman that I said until death do us apart, that I'm not even living life here in this life with her. So I went to my boss and I've made drastic changes. So here's what people thought I was crazy, because people around you, when you become an entrepreneur, they're going to think you're crazy. When I spoke to my boss and I said, all right, his name is Damien. I said, Damien, here's what I want to do. Now, you know, I work hard, but here's the thing. Every Friday, I'm going to be leaving at 5:30. Now, remember, I'm the culinary manager. I am the heart of the restaurant. I'm leaving at 5:30. He's like, you're crazy. I'm like, but just hear me out. I will literally work 7 days a week. I will come every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. I will prep. I will clean. I will make sure everything is ready as if there's no one else working but me. And on that Friday night, Anything missing, one little tiny thing missing, call me. I'll come right back. No questions asked. And on Saturday, I'm not showing up until 12:30. He's like, dude, Saturday, restaurant. I know, I understand. I will be here at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll prep, I'll clean, I'll have everything ready. And then I'll go handle my business and I'll come back at 12:30. But I will stay until close Saturday. And every other day, Monday through Friday, consider me from open to close, I'll be here. And my 2 weeks vacation, I just want to break them on 4-day increments every 90 days. Now, what do you think I set that up for? Anybody can guess? Number one, they told me, was a top earner. He said, you cannot miss a Friday night leadership as a top earner. If you miss a Friday night leadership, don't consider yourself a top earner. You won't make it. That's where we teach you comp plan. That's where we teach you what to say, how to say. I was like, oh, wow, okay. All right, I got to figure this thing out. And then they said, if you don't show up to a Saturday meeting, you're never going to bring your guests. If you're not here, how do you expect your guests to be here? I was like, wow, that makes sense. So I made those dressing. Now, here's what Damien did. He laughed. He was like, dude, you know, you're just like, you're about to. I was like, I know what I'm doing. Just please allow me. If I need to write it on document, I'll do it. Damien agreed. My wife was not happy, if you could imagine. The only days that you have the vacation time, you're going to literally give to 4 conventions that the company had every year. That's why I split my vacations. Now, I said drastic changes, right? I said people are not going to think you're normal because we entrepreneurs are not normal. Now, guess what happened a year later? I fired my boss.